Hey friends, welcome again to another Singer Studio video. Today's a biggie. We're going to do the whole overview of the whole process, right to the heart of it, right to the heart of it. How to sing. I'm going to give you the roadmap from breath to tone, and along the way, I'm going to give you some real vocal mechanics that are going to help you understand the whole process of singing. This is not a quick fix how to sing. This isn't one of those American videos which promises the world, and all you need to do is watch this video and you'll be singing at Covent Garden or the Met within weeks. It's just an overview for what the whole idea of vocal technique is. Singing isn't magic, it's anatomy, acoustics, and artistry working together. So let's get into it. What's the frame for the instrument? Stance. You should stand with your feet under the hips, knees unlocked, pelvis neutral. Your spine should be along that natural S shape of the back. The sternum should be buoyant, the appoggio. We call this the appoggio. The head can be balanced in the adlancto. The head can be balanced where the skull meets the spine, this joint here. I can't remember the name of it, but look it up. Shoulders are free, not pinned back, not hunched forward. We have this lovely open stance of freedom and expression. The alignment frees the diaphragm, intercostals and abdominal wall to move without interference. A collapsed chest literally crowds the lungs and restricts capacity. A held and stiff chest doesn't allow the ribs to move well for effective rib help on exhalation. Let's talk about the breath. The foundation of all of singing is a good inhalation. The diaphragm will descend, the external intercostals lift the rib cage, and the abdominal wall will release outwards. Exhalation for singing is not a collapse, but a controlled recoil of intercostal with abdominal muscles, the transverse abdominals, the obliques, etc., gently resisting. Think expansion maintained. Think of expansion and maintain while the air is released. As always, I've got my notes in front of me so I don't miss anything else, but I am talking to you at home, dear listeners. I'm just referring to my notes. Apologize while I keep looking out. That hovering feeling around the ribs is the appoggio, that resistance, that balance of inspiratory and expiratory forces. It's the reason great singers can spin a phrase seemingly without effort. Now, this next part is phonation, making the sound. The vocal folds, the thyroid, arytenoid, and the cricothyroid working in balance. Vibrate as air passes, the forward laryngeal tilt that we talk about, keeping this correct position to phonate. A nice clean onset. The folds meet gently with airflow, not slammed together, not leaking, not a hard onset. That's when the arytenoid slams shut. Breathy, folds, folds under adducted. Balanced folds approximated with the right subglottic pressure. David L. Jones always teaches the idea of saying every orange to get that beautiful tone. We can talk a lot about Garcia's coda glottis, that and we can talk about is it Lamperti who talked about directing the sigh to the soft palate. These two ideas will help different singers. Again, I don't want to get into techniques here. This is supposed to be an overview. But if you get a singer who sings with too much laryngeal tension, well, the sigh. If you get a singer that has too much the coda glottis, can help. You can think of that la to smooth the closure of the chords, the NG to an R. The cricothyroid lifts the thyroid cartilage, stretching the vocal folds for pitch. The thyroid and arytenoid adds body to the sound. A singer's control is essentially the balance between these two. And I know we've done videos where we've talked an awful lot about all these supplementary and external forces on the larynx. Go and watch them. If you're a singer teacher, you need to know all about these things. You don't need to know what they're all called. That's really important. I often mispronounce and forget what various muscles are called, but sure as hell know what they do. And so should you if you're teaching singers. If you don't. Resonance, shaping the sound. Sound is amplified in the pharynx, the primary resonator, the oral cavity, and the nasal pharynx. Pharynx, oral cavity, nasal pharynx. We don't want to have a constricted pharynx by pushing down in the tongue. We don't want to have nasal tone, the soft palate being chopped. We want to have the balanced resonance of the pharynx open and the soft palate lifted. I've made a video about lifting the soft palate. Go and watch that. Ah, ah, ah. We want to aim for this chiaroscuro idea, the brightness of the front resonators, depth from the pharyngeal space. Ah, we got the bright, the darkness and the brightness. Ma, ma, ma. Feel how we open the pharynx but keep the buzz in the mask. Go and watch the video we've made about talking about placing the voice and why you can't place a voice, etc. Yeah, but we do pick up nasal pharyngeal resonance with the primary resonator being open. The singer's format. If you have a singing teacher that talks about the format and doesn't explain why, I go on Reddit and I see singing teachers throwing around these terms, trying to impress their pupils out of fear that they don't know enough about the vocal instrument. So they use terms that are deliberately used to confuse and obfuscate the message to the singing pupil, so the pupil thinks the teacher knows what they're talking about. Do not use terms that a pupil will confuse a pupil, all right? So for some reason, teachers, especially American singer teachers, it seems to me, talk about the singer's formant, and I think the poor pupil hasn't got a clue what it is. We'll talk about it here, but I'll tell you what it is. The formant, the clustering of harmonics around about 2,800 hertz, comes from the widening of the epilaryngeal tube just above the vocal folds. The ariepiglottic, I can't even pronounce that, ariepiglottic sphincter narrows slightly, boosting the carrying power. That's why trained singers can cut through an orchestra. That's the format. The idea that there are different areas of high, middle, resonant, harmonic pyramids. The sound that we make can be defined into the higher tones, the mid-tones, and the lower tones that contribute towards this sound. This ariepiglottic sphincter that is narrowing into the pharynx that makes the sound able to have this fully resonant sound, high, middle, low, that allows the singer to develop this rich sound that has got all these different resonances, this chiaroscuro, that can develop into a full operatic voice. I never use the term format with my pupils. I'm talking about it on here because I wrote it in the notes, but as teachers, it's important for us to know about. And then through these videos, I'm talking to both teachers and experienced singers and complete beginners. Yeah, basically, we're talking about the quality from the high harmonics to the low harmonics of the sound we produce. Went down a bit of a rabbit hole there. I apologize. Let's talk about using the voice, the vowels and the consonants. The vowels are shaped by tongues and lips, but as the great Lundqvist said, they're actually made in the pharynx, and we want to remember that whilst also understanding the technicality of how the tongue does play on it. We work a lot on vowels, and your exercises must encompass a lot of ha, ha, he, ho, ho. Yeah, feeling that the vowels are made in the pharynx. They must remain pure to keep the resonance stable. We need to understand the difference between open and closed vowels. Got a video about that. We don't want to choke resonance by doing anything wrong like that. We want to train ourselves to be able to use consonants, articulate them quickly when we need to, use to be able to linger on them, voice consonants when that's going to flavor the text. We use consonants so judiciously for artistic effect. Yeah, but we train how we sing them. We understand the difference between voiced and unvoiced. We are creating an artistic palette so that our words become beautiful tools. Go and see all the videos I've made about words. The tongue root is the secret villain. If it retracts too much, it narrows the pharynx and kills resonance. Freedom of the hyoglossus and the genioglossus muscles is essential. We have to have the ability to be able to create these vowels and these consonants without squashing the voice. Then we put it all together. The singing line. We connect to the posture, breath, phonation, resonance, vowels. We do this by working on the whole of the instrument at the same time and breaking it down into small parts. Your teacher will have some lessons or some periods of time when they might focus on a corner of your vocal technique, but they never work, or they should never work, to the detriment of the other parts of your vocal technique. Yeah, things like legato principle, smooth phonation, and airflow, consonants layered lightly. We remember that legato depends on subglottic pressure being constant. What is subglottic pressure? The pressure underneath the vocal folds here, which will happen when the rib cage doesn't collapse. So we get that nice, easy subglottic attack without the rib cage being too pressured or too loose. That is why professional singers will do all that work on support, as we said in another video. All these things will come together gently, working on this part of the voice, working on that part of the voice. Remember, this is just an overview of singing, not on how to sing for you to watch this video and then instantly become brilliant. Because we must remember, as I've said in lots of other videos, that progress is something that is measured slowly and intermittently. We are not going to reach perfection, ever. Only one singer was perfect, and that was, well, not even going to say that because I'll get too many dislikes. I like Dmitry Khodosovsky, even though he's imperfect. Voice is neuromuscular. Voice is a neuromuscular training that becomes a habitual. Yeah, we are training our voice and our mind. Consistency. It's like doing marathons. We train to run a marathon. Recording ourselves, as I constantly says. The nervous system builds efficiency by repetition. Learning to sing is like learning to walk after having some kind of like operation when you can't walk. It takes a long time to relearn muscle memory. So we do it slowly and with consistency. It's like building a cathedral. The stones are posture, breath, phonation, resonance, vowels, and legato. Get those right, and the artistry has something to stand on. Technique does not kill expression. It makes expression possible. If you want to go deeper, watch all my other videos when we talk about different corners of vocal technique. If you want to get involved, send me a message. You want to work with me. I'll be resident again, quite close to London, so we're gonna have one-to-ones. I do teach online via Zoom. Become a channel member, buy me a coffee, do all those things. Thank you so much for watching. This has been just an overview of vocal technique. Thank you for watching.